Well, good morning, everybody. It is now the 22nd of January, 2025, with the comments video from beautiful downtown La Posa South long-term visitor area in the desert, boondocking, about 3.5 miles outside of Quartzsite, Arizona, in the gorgeous southwest Arizona desert. So, weather. Right, we talk about wind every day. We only got to say one thing about it. Next 10 days, tomorrow, Thursday, we're gonna have a puff. That's 14 mile an hour maximum wind velocity sometime in the afternoon. That's not a big deal. It's not something we need to worry about. The rest of the days for the next 10 days, everything's 10 miles per hour or less, and not an issue. Yesterday was chilly. Today we're going to be a high of 67. We're going to dip down into the low 60s next week, and then boom, we're in the 70s. We even have the second and third of this month will be 74 degrees, mostly sunny skies. We have one cloudy day on the horizon. That's this Saturday. Looks like we got a 2% chance of rain, and they got clouds complete. Look at that. They got clouds completely covering that day. There's no hint of the sun, so it's going to be cloudy, 67 degrees. The lows look like 40 to 45. Steadily increasing. We're at close to an inflection point where the temperatures are going to start rising into February, and then March, and then April will be scary hot here by April, I'm guessing. So that is the weather. Comments. Well, I'm going to struggle just a bit here. Only because usually, I pick where the last one was and then go forward. Well, there were a few that were before the last one that suddenly appeared, mysteriously. So I might miss a couple of those, but because it's a little confusing, but I'm going to try to pick through there. Tom's 8883 on the day one Big Ten says, the 100, you're welcome. I'm sorry, Tom. I don't know what that means. I bet it's referring to something I said in the video, but that was a few days ago, and I just don't remember. But thanks for the comment anyway. And Diana Soapmaker says, thank you to the Walking in the Desert and Wondering About Stuff video that we're not going to discuss that. All that I opened a can of worms politically, and I'm not going to do it again. It was stressful couple of days of losing subscribers and angry comments. Lesson learned. But thank you for thanking me, Diana. And so I may repeat a couple because I just don't remember whether they were included yesterday. Slim Pickens says, remember, our trolls are not human, no heart, no soul. Thanks for explaining. Have a great day. And I think I was explaining when and why I block people for the channel and or delete comments. Let's see. That I remember. Oh, George says, hope to see the installation of AC cover. I did a short on it. It works great. The AC, it really cut down the sound. It's a much better filter, and it's an electrostatic filter. I think it was a great purchase. Sue Brown says, on Walking in the Desert, agree. Thank you. It's not about politics. It's about humanity. That's what I kind of meant. Michael Ratowski, there's a video on why I call this channel Travels with Dottie. It's an old video, and he watched it, and he had a big giant heart. Thank you. All right. So Keith Brookshire says, whoever said their company won't allow filming works for some real peaches. There's no expectation of privacy in public. So I answered and said many of the larger companies forbid their employees from being on social media while representing the firm. All right. So Keith expanded on his answer, responded to that, and said, I understand that they may be their policy, and I applaud your willingness to comply with their request. However, to the letter of the law, There's no expectation of privacy in public. Anything that can be seen from a public space can be filmed, photographed, and published with no requirement for permission to be granted. It's a First Amendment freedom of press right. It would be different if the big tent promoters had a no filming policy, but I assume there is no such policy, and promoters have opened the event to the public. In all honesty, I would have honored their request not to give them free publicity. It's a bit of a tender spot with me when others think somehow they have control of others when there's no wrongdoing going on. Again, bravo to you for not giving them free publicity. He's right about all of that, right? Certainly, number one, in a public space, if it can be seen from the public, you can do it. There is the legal is public space, no expectation of privacy. So like a public bathroom would not be part of that. There's an expectation of privacy there. It may be a public bathroom, but you can't go in and film people because there's a clear expectation of privacy. But if you're filming on the street and you're filming the front of a store or a sidewalk or a street, there's no recourse for people to say, you don't have my permission to film me. So, and clearly, when I go through the big tent, I'm passing hundreds of people. I'm not asking them for their permission. However, if, and I happen to know they allow filming there, YouTubers are all over the place every year. So, however, here's the non-legal but ethical thing that I do is if I want to film you not just passing, but I have a conversation with you and I hold you on film and feature you as part of a film, I'm going to get your permission. And if you don't give your permission, it's not only wrong, but it's silly and foolish of me to put you on film when you ask me not to do it. That's why I ask. I'm not under some legal obligation. I'm under a moral and ethical obligation to ask. And in this case, I think I mentioned it after I walked by. There was a vendor there that was doing something interesting, and I wanted to interview him and show he was demonstrating something. And he said, "My company doesn't allow me to be filmed." I'm like, okay. And I ran into it a couple of times. It was the funnier one. I can't remember which video. Was I wanted to talk to the progressive insurance people about it, ask about full-timer insurance and stuff like that. And there were young people, there were like 5 of them that were behind the progressive counter. And I asked them, they said, we're really sorry, but they specifically tell us not to make like public statements about the company or policies on film. And that's perfectly understandable. The company says, boy, we don't want bad information about our insurance company to be memorialized on social media. I get that. That makes sense. And they said, but you can shoot us and we'll smile. So I said, sure. And I talked about insurance while I shot a sort of them behind the counter. All of them, they started waving and they're smiling as I'm talking. And this was a little bit of a trick. I said, I got to tell you, I'm a progressive customer. I'm a full-time RVer, and a lot of people worry about that. But all I simply did is when I called Progressive, I told them the absolute truth about my circumstances, and they said, that's fine. That's okay. And they all were like smiling because now, and my intent was if I had said something that they thought was radically wrong, the smiles would have gone away, right? So it's a little bit of a sneaky thing that I did. But I knew I was right because I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth to you. I was telling the truth then, and I was absolutely telling the truth to Progressive Insurance about what my situation was, where I live, how I live, my addresses, and it's fine. And the same went for Geico when I had Geico before that. And I had to switch from Geico because I moved and the rates were just, they were, sometimes an insurance company's in an area and they don't want to be there, but they don't want to just cancel policies. So they raise the rates tremendously and people self-cancel. And that's what happened. So anyway, Keith, you're right. And I think you support me in my decision to ask when if I'm going to interview somebody, if I'm going to put somebody on film, I'm going to ask, and if the answer is no, honor that and move on. You'll notice when people recognize me when I'm out and I'm filming, first question is, I'm filming, do you mind being on film? And if the answer is no, you'll never know it happened, because I'll cut the whole thing right out. But most people say, yeah, sure, I'd love to be on your video. And Keith also says that AC silencer is pretty sweet. That's a little bit of a misnomer. It doesn't silence the AC. It doesn't silence it silent, but it really cuts down on the decibels. It's very, very good. Good insulation, good sound insulation, and much better filtering than what comes stock. And as I keep telling people, I don't take money, free stuff. I don't do it. So if you hear me talking about a product, it's because I decided to buy it, I used it, and I'm telling you about it. Christy Lena, great tour guy, Rob. Oh, and by the way, if I use something and it's terrible, you probably won't hear about that either, and I'll tell you why. Because there have been instances of companies just filing suit against YouTubers for negative reviews, even though they're being honest and nothing's wrong. Anyone can sue anyone, and if you get sued, you have to mount some kind of defense, and usually that costs money. So I don't do negative reviews at all. There's plenty of places you can go to read reviews on almost any product out there. My channel's not going to be one of them. Pup Camper 58 gave me a thumbs up. The day 3 at the big tent. Was that the one that you were in, Cheryl? I can't see the thumbnail. She was in one of them. That was a lot of fun. Cheryl and I doing the big tent together. So I have pressed the button too many times and I have lost my place. So, oh no, I didn't lose my place. There's just not that many left. Oh, there must be. I'm confused. Oh, before I forget, I want to read you something. I want to read you something that I thought it was an amazing thing, an amazing email that I got. Some of you may remember that I got kind of a nasty email from someone that accused me of what they used the term medical malpractice. They said I'm claiming to be a counselor and doing counseling without a license and without a degree, and it was pretty harsh. And here's why I'm telling you about this. Let me just walk through completely my 2 responses. My first one and then my rethought response. My first response was, go right ahead with my blessing. It's your time to waste. He was going to report me to various agencies. And that was a few minutes later, I had a change of heart about that. That was kind of sarcastic, right? But I felt very attacked. And I wrote back and I said, and this is a great self-lesson for me, and it may be valuable for you as well. After thinking about it, I'm just going to go ahead and assume you mean well by this. Understand that the law requires me to be licensed in the state where my clients are physically located. I have clients in Nevada, which is where my legal residence is, as well as Idaho, Virginia, and Florida. A provider can provide telehealth services from any location. I am licensed in all the above states, and I have a master's degree from St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. It's very easy to check my license in those states online. It is really easy. Like LPC license search and put in the state, boom, easy. Put in the name, easy peasy. And my name's not hard to find. I'm guessing I have done or said something that has gotten you to send this email. Maybe you can tell me what it is, so maybe we can work it out. And that was on January 18th. And a couple days went by, silence. And then finally, yesterday, I got a response that I was very pleasantly surprised by. Mr. Wakely, I apologize. I was given incorrect information and I took that information on face value, which was worthless. I too am a psychotherapist, retired, but when a former client sends me a note of importance, I must respond. So I guess what he's saying is a former client made these accusations, so he sent me the email based on those accusations. Mr. Wakely, please accept my apology. I do not even look at YouTube, so I know nothing of how it works or care to. So he never even saw my channel. He doesn't even know anything about it. Continue with your practice and channel and enjoy life. So, when we're unfairly, what am I talking about? When I feel like I'm unfairly attacked, my instinct, my just immediate reaction is to lash back out, which, I know it's not severe, but go ahead with my blessing. It's your time to waste. I was saying, go ahead, report me. Thinking about it, the only way this would have been better is if I never sent that first one. But pretty much a couple minutes later, I sent the second one. And I never would have gotten this basically confession that, hey, I made a mistake, if I had just left it at my fairly sarcastic remark. So it was a good lesson for me and reinforcement to continue to do that in the future. Now, you're not going to see me do that with nasty comments online, but certainly with emails that have specific criticisms like that, that it's possible they may believe what they're saying. I'm going to try to make that my policy. So Terry Mart says, Rob, every time you walk into a food vendor or something that has to do with food, I'm saying, no, you're going to buy something. You were drawn to food vendors. So this is an example of, that didn't sound very nice. So I said, and that's disturbing to you, because I want her to know what was bothering her about that. And she says, no, I'd be doing the same thing. I'm right there with you. So that's the thing with typing stuff. It's like tone of voice isn't reflected. So you don't know when someone's being kidding or someone is being critical. So ask, be curious, ask. And so I asked, it's disturbing to you? Because and my sentence ends with a question mark, and she answered the question brilliantly. Dee Dee Cornell, good morning, Mr. Rob, Dottie, and George. Very cold here in Wisconsin, -8 degrees. I'm sorry. Oh, with wind chill, it feels like -19. That is cold. Nancy Monderos jumps on that thread and says, Colorado wind chill at 4 a.m. was -38. And I'm sitting here and I complained it was cold yesterday because it was like 59. All right. Randall McQueen says, is there a Webasto heater dealer there? And I answered not listed, and I gave him a link to the list of exhibitors. And he says, Dottie Trails, thanks. I broke down and walked around today, and I honestly don't know what I don't know what all the hype is about. And I answered, I said, that's too bad. It's not for everyone. I get excited about it and love it. He doesn't. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Susan Jack gets on the same thread and said, thanks, Rob. First time I've been in the big tent. There's something similar at the New Mexico State Fair, maybe minus the RV items. I love walking through it and looking and sampling things. Me too. But let me tell you something. I've been saying I'm going to be here every day. And last night, I had a great day there yesterday. I met one of my YouTuber heroes, Matt's RV Reviews, and he was wonderful. But then I thought, I did a video Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And here we are Wednesday morning. And I really don't, I'm like, I've got to break with what I said. And said, I don't think I'm going to go back. I may go back on the last day, but I'm having trouble finding additional things that really interest me. And it almost, if I go today, what I'm going to be doing is going and saying, okay, what vendor might make an interesting video? And that's not what I want my channel to be about. I want my channel to be about, I'm walking through a place and I go, hey, I'm interested in that, and I film it. See the difference? I don't create content for YouTube. I don't do things to create content. I do things and create content as a result of the things that I want to do and I'm interested in. When I flip that, I think my channel will no longer after time be a joy to me, and it'll be a chore, and I'll just stop doing it. So I need to be vigilant about that. Hey, Ken says, good tour, thanks. Let me say something about Ken. Ken's been probably my most prolific commenter. He's a joy to read the comments. But here's the most important thing about Ken. Ken had a post that was lengthy the other day that I disagreed with pretty directly. And it was a long post, and I posted my response. And neither of us were nasty with each other, but we have very differing views on something. So I posted my response, and he responded to that nicely. And at the end of his response, he continued to disagree, which is, you know what? Disagreement's okay. And he says, cheerfully at the end says, love your channel. So many people would be, hey, if the guy's going to argue with me, I'm not going to watch his channel anymore. Not Ken. Ken engaged in a respectful way, and back the next day to his usual cheerful, complimentary, and he adds to the channel with a lot of his comments. So Ken, my hat's off to you, my friend. You're a good man. And you're such a welcome presence on my channel in the comments, as many of you others are. I don't mean to say Ken's the only one, but that interaction really stuck out with me, and interactions like that are part of the joy of me doing this channel. All right, Nancy Maderos. The barbecue place, one of the items on the menu was pork bowl stacked with beans, pork, and slaw. I bet Jana could make that on her channel. Jana is Frugal RV gal. Absolutely, she can make that. She can make anything. She's an unbelievable cook. Seems to underrate. Chef she's not a professional, but I would say very skilled and creative cook, meal preparer, however you want to say it. She just had a video, I think yesterday I saw, where she went shopping for the 10-day window where she and author Dickinson are going to be at the Celarama, and you see little clips of me, because I go there every time I've gone to the big tent. It's the same area, so I go and hang out with them and do a little bit of a clip with them. She did one on the shopping that she did for the two of them for the 10 days. And she went to Dollar General store, and I think Roadrunner and Coyote Fresh in Quartzsite, and she gave the prices of everything she did. I think it was $87, if I remember correctly, total cost for her for that, and that came out to $8.74 per day for two of them. So what's that? Divided by 2 per person, she's feeding one person per day for $4.37. Hence Frugal RV gal. Check her out. Frigo Jim. Great videos. I've been binge watching your channel since it's like -18 here near Minnesota. I feel I know my way around Quartzsite already. Can't wait to get there next year. Yeah, Jim, you'll be happier with the weather here comparing it to -18 in Minnesota. Minnesota, that's a wonderful place, isn't it? So here's something interesting. Gagooch says, great video as usual. Give Dottie and George some lovin's for me. Take care and be good. And that says that's the most recent video, but that's 18 hours ago. That can't be. So something's wrong. Oh, you know what? I'm on a particular video. Whoops. That's why. All right. Well, okay. This is going to be tough. I'm going to have to pick through these. Okay, just to explain, there's a tab where I have all the comments, and then somehow at some point I got on the comments for a particular video, so I might have missed some. So hang in there with me while I go through the main list and try to pick out the ones I missed, because I don't want to miss anybody, not on purpose. Frigo Jim says, great story. Not everyone that looks like your worst fear, everything that looks like your worst fear ends up being your worst fears. And that was a mom experiences panic and a miracle on Positive News video yesterday. Christy Lena on day 3 at the Big Tent says, nice floor plan on the first big fifth wheel. I went through a couple of rigs that were for sale. And let's see. Wiki Up Rat and Wiki Up Right Lake. How could you go wrong with manufacturers? The name of Wacko. And that's the new noise cover was the name of the company is Wacko. It is kind of funny, but good product. Let's see. Well, this isn't so bad because I can remember these things. The ones that I've just read, so that's not so bad. PJ's Parks. Hi, Rob. Happy to have found your channel. Thank you for all the info you're sharing, your tours of the RV show, etc. I'm not out and traveling yet, but plan to do so in the near future. Hugs to Dottie and George. Best regards from a former Texan. You know what? I'm a former Texan, too. I lived in Texas between Dallas and Austin about 20 years in my life. That doesn't make me a native Texan, not even close, but it makes me, hey, I hung out for 20 years. I know a little about a couple of parts of Texas. Not a Texan. Ken Gray. Good tour, thanks. We already read that. Hey, Tiffany Day says, hey, Rob, what's the brand and model of your camper? Well, Tiffany, you know, I can type this one, too, in case you don't look. I've not seen you before, so you're not watching this. It's going to do a Winnebago. Can I spell Winnebago? Do you think I can? A 2021 Winnebago Micro Mini 2100 BH. And that's 2100. It's 21 feet long. BH is bunkhouse model. So I responded to that. So she'll get that answer. I hope it's the thing's spinning. There it goes. All right. Let's see. Ken Gray. Okay, you can probably tell I skipped one. And it wasn't a bad comment. It was just on this old politic thing from the other day. And while I appreciate the comments that are coming through on it, you know, there's supportive ones and stuff. I'm done talking about the political thing. It's stressful for me and for you, so no more. Ken Gray, another example of people being given the choice and choosing to be kind. Yeah. Topaz Farmer Travels. What a fabulous story. This is both on the Mom Experiences Panic and a Miracle. It shows us we should not judge a book by its cover. It's human nature for us to judge each other, and that's how we've been brought up. And it's also sort of in our evolutionary development as human beings to keep us safe, to be naturally suspicious of people that don't look like us. And that has protected us in the old days. It's an instinct that's become dysfunctional. And It's our job as human beings to overcome it and get rid of it. It's no longer useful. But as we learn and grow, it's our choice to override that early training and knowingly choose to look deeper within. Couldn't have said it better myself. Topaz Farmer Travels. Larry Dickman says, avoid getting your LTVA permit revoked is the older video that he's talking about. And he says, I get away from people to not hear loud music. I can consolidate all those written and unwritten rules. Rule 1, don't be a self-centered, arrogant, narcissistic, and argumentative fill in the blank. I'm not going to read the last word. But I agree. You can synthesize all those rules down. Be considerate of other people, and you'll be good. Nancy Menderos, the barbecue place. Oh, no, we got that one. I got that one. Tiffany Day says, hello, Rob, from Chile, Iowa. -2 feels like 20 below. Yikes. And that's her word, yikes, and I'll echo it, yikes. What is the brand model of your camper? I did answer her, and I put a link to the J.D. Powers thing so she could actually see it. I am 6 years from retirement and listen to you every day. My guy and I vacationed in Arizona late December, early January. We were able to drive through Quartzsite. I'm grateful for having listened to you. Thank you so much for giving so many a retirement to look forward to. Well, you're welcome, Tiffany. Ken Gray, a spirited yet even-tempered comments today. Love your content. Quartzsite Comments from 121 from yesterday. Good morning, Rob and babies. I just wanted to drop in and say it's very cold here in North Carolina. However, you and I always had warm hugs and love from this to you and the babies. I can only say warm thoughts and everything here created by our creator. Gagooch, great video as usual, Rob. Give Dottie and George some lovings for me. Take care and be good. Well, thank you. FSD at the lake. Hello, Rob, Dottie, and George. Did you hear that, George? George is out cold. Dottie's out. They're both sleeping. It is 6:30 in the morning. I enjoyed conversations with people that may have a different opinion than mine. I feel it is a learning opportunity for both of us. I might learn that I didn't have all the information or perhaps enlighten someone else based on a different perspective. As long as we both learn and grow, then it's never a waste of time. Being open in life is a great way to find joy in your heart and peace of mind. Wishing you a wonderful day. We're headed to Quartzsite today to find our little spot in the desert for a few weeks. So excited. Oh boy, me too. I'm excited for you. That's great. Ed Godby says, ignorance is fixable, stupid is not observing is critical. Oh, we needed a comment in that sentence. Buddy, ignorance is fixable, stupid is not, observing is critical. And I said I try to fix my ignorance every day. It's a good policy. I can expand my knowledge somehow, some way every day. Topaz Lucille, hi Rob, have you talked about your RV? If so, please direct me to those videos. I'm not organized like that. I have I think it's last count of 1,700 videos, but there is a video that Bob Wells does a tour of my video and from last year. And so I gave her a link to that. That particular video it's on Cheap RV Living has 300,000 views. So it was quite popular. Greg Miller, enjoyed your video. And that was Tote and Macerator Complete Guide. And thank you, Greg. Montana Wife, yay, #1. So here we go, day 4 at the Big Tent. That was yesterday, and that was supposed to be released now, but by accident, 15 hours ago, I usually upload and get everything ready to go in everything except publish. Well, I hit publish by accident. And then I saw this 15 hours ago. I saw Montana Wife's comment. I'm like, oh no. And I said, lucky, it was released by accident. It was for tomorrow. And I decided, and I looked, by the time I saw it, it already had 50 views or something. So I just left it out there. So today's video, The long form is there. It was just released yesterday, and it's called Day 4 at the Big Tent. And it includes, if you watch Matt's RV reviews, he was there, and I got a great, just my hope about how the interview would go was exceeded by the actual interview with him. And the thumbnail shows him doing one of his leaps in the air. And I got that. I used that as the thumbnail. And I didn't prompt that. I walked around the corner with the camera in my hand, and he saw me in the camera, and he did the leap. He didn't know who I was. It's so great. Paul Owen, hey Rob, you unknowingly or perhaps knowingly prepared me with your many videos on how a green thumb can successfully boondock in the Quartzsite desert. I'm having a great time at the Roadrunner BLM for the Quartzsite Amateur Radio Convention. Thanks for, I hear there's the amateur radio people. There's a huge gathering of them in Roadrunner. And I don't think I think green thumb means someone that's good at growing stuff, which is not going to happen in the desert. I think he means he's green in terms of inexperienced. So Dee Dee Cornell, good evening, Mr. Rob, Dottie, and George. Well, good evening to you, Dee Dee. Robin Goff, thanks, Rob. Appreciate all that you do. Treats and lovin's to Dottie and George. Mike Semi, I've had the same cell number since day one. So anyway, this is in response to me reading my cell phone, saying my cell phone number out loud in a video, and people, warning me, oh, you should get rid of that. And I said, it's published everywhere anyway. So here's this comment. I've had the same cell number since day one. Small business owner for 11 years and followed by being in real estate for the next 20. Phone number always put out there to the world to see, and still is today by being on social media. End results, yep, I get some spam calls just like everybody else. No more, no less. Probably 80% of my calls I just let go to voicemail, either send a message or call them back. If I had millions of subscribers, I would continue doing the same. It's pretty close to my experience. I've got a product on my phone called Umail, and it unknown callers, it screens. It requires, if you want to get through to me, it requires some interaction that basically proves you're human and not someone trying to sell me something. And then it'll come through and you can leave a message. But a lot of them are just like, I'll get a message that, such and such called, spam, blocked. And it's easy if someone is bothering you with your phone number, it's a very simple manner to block their number. And if they call from a different number, block that one too. It's easier for you to block a number than it is for them to get a new number. So you'll outfox and outlast them every time. Okay, so Slim Pickens is kind of responding in sort of a little bit of a testy way to another person saying something about Asia, and it's more of the political stuff. Nothing wrong with what Slim says, but I'm just not going to read it because I'm done with the politics stuff. Glenda, I thought about you this afternoon when I got a parking spot right in front of K&B Tools. Good for you. Someone backing out as I was coming down Kuhn, and I got their spot. Yeah, that's a good feeling when that happens this time of year. So Bohemian Lifer, Chick Magnet. That's my day one at the RTR. I don't know what you mean by that. That was just that was my first day at the RTR this year. Wasn't much. Looks like more people today. You must have been going through the busy section. Pretty much the same section. I think it maybe had to do with the time of day I went. Dibsy Actual. Hi, Rob. Great to see you with Herbie at the meet and greet out here, Roadrunner, enjoying my winter. That's great. Thank you. Thanks for commenting. Chuck Brewington, nice story. Mom experiences panic and a miracle. That was yesterday. That's a great little, positive news, uplifting. Check that out. Today is about a man that engaged in a real generous act. It's pretty moving. Check it out. Chuck Brewington, Matt is quite a character. He certainly is. Very fun mini interview. Very good info on jobs. I've been considering it to keep busy while traveling. I interviewed a guy that has a company where they hire camp hosts. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Diana Soapmaker, you can usually find beard oil in a barbershop or hair salon or on Amazon. Yeah, I'm sure. I'll check that out. Slippery Chicken. I laughed as you turned around looking for Verizon right in front of the Verizon desk. I didn't realize I did that, but I believe you 100%. It's what I do. Look far and ignore what's in front of me. Don't know if you remember Duke. 150-pound dog and myself, Thomas, from last year. Of course I remember. You had the, you used to call it the blue ice house, which confused me at first because what are you talking about? Well, it's a tent-like structure that's used for ice fishing, and you guys were using it in the desert. But we're enjoying viewing Quartzsite life through your lens this year. We'll be back next year as I'm recovering well from my stroke, and also we're sick of the minus 29-degree days. Oh. Haas, ACAP, Rob, keep a lookout for those stinking black badges. Section 31 is everywhere. Starting on January 24th, it'll be slipstreaming near you. Are you going to watch it? I'm on Paramount Plus. Having a good trekking day, and God bless y'all. Okay. Raise your hand if you know what he's talking about. Okay, very few of you raise your hand, so I'm going to explain. Section 31 is a new Star Trek series that they're releasing, and Section 31 is like the Starfleet or Federation equivalent of the CIA. That's all I know about it, and I'll probably check it out. All right, that was 2 hours ago, and then we have one. Well, let's refresh. Make sure this is the last one. Okay, it's not. It is. Chuck Brewington, an incredible man giving an incredible gift. I needed that this morning. Thanks. And that's what I was just talking about. It's called Father's Selfless Act, number 314. That means I've done positive news stories 314 consecutive days, and it's positive news. So check that out. And check out if you haven't seen it yet, today's long form video was produced yesterday, and that's the day 4 at the RTR. At the Big Tent, not the RTR. I get confused sometimes. Here's what I thought you'd get a kick out of. You know, I'm forever talking about these emails that I get for companies wanting me to promote their products, and I always say no to. And never say never. If something amazing, they said, Rob, we'd like to send you a $5,000 power station to review. I'm probably going to make an exception. So be prepared for something like that. But these silly little things, no. And I'm going to read you. Hey, Travels with Dottie. Hope you're doing well. I want to introduce the Confu Ionic Salon Blow Dryer with a powerful 1,875 watt motor for fast, efficient drying, up to 5 times faster than traditional dryers. Would you like to try this unique hair dryer first and introduce it to your fans? I've attached the cooperation agreement. I could do that and say, it was amazing. My hair was dried in a split second. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.